The Ottoman host advances with calm certainty, dust rising like a moving bruise across the plains. Vienna's stone walls stand as the last barrier to empire, distance collapsing into an approaching world of siege and shadow. Ottoman engineers lay trenches with ritual care, measuring ground as if it would confess. Tents rise like a second city beyond the horizon, a disciplined camp preparing to choke the city into submission. Bakers and priests haul stones for earthworks under moonlight, hands cracked from labor. Vienna rewrites every public space into survival's function, a city breathing through exhaustion and smoke. Count Starhemberg inspects crumbling ramparts with cold precision, rations measured in his hands. Defenders repair breaches with timber, and earthworks under the siege's constant, grinding thunder. Leopoldstadt burns in the distance, flames visible from Vienna's walls. Houses and warehouses sacrificed to deny cover, a warning and price paid in smoke and ash across the scarred landscape. Ottoman sappers pack powder in mine tunnels, torches casting long shadows. Defenders lie flat on ramparts, ears pressed to the ground, feeling vibrations beneath the siege's relentless weight. Defenders dig countermines in darkness, knives and pistols, ready as earth shifts. The world reduces to breath and sweat, the terrifying certainty that the ground itself will explode. Wind fill barrels and stitch bandages until hands crack. Priests carry water to ramparts. Vienna's streets fill with the smell of powder and sickness. A city fighting to survive one breath at a time. Ottoman cannons pound Vienna's bastions until stone looks tired. The bombardment shifts from distant thunder to constant, earth-shaking rhythm, dust shaking from every ceiling. Vienna's defenders launch a sortie through the gates, small groups rushing out to burn siege works and drag back tools. They vanish before the Ottoman net tightens, brave and costly. The first mine explosion shatters Vienna's fortification in a violent spray of rubble. Ottoman assault troops surge toward gaps, still vomiting dust. A shock that feels bigger than sound. Defenders fight on broken ground, where yesterday's wall is today's trench. Pikes and muskets meet Ottoman troops in choking smoke, uniforms ceasing to matter, only direction left. Starhemberg counts ammunition shot by shot, rations measured with cold arithmetic. Vienna's streets filled with the smell of sickness and powder, a city living on the edge of collapse. Ottoman trenches advance like a slow tide, batteries moving forward to pound Vienna's bastions. Stone begins to look tired and broken, the siege grinding relentlessly on. Priests and women stitch bandages in a church-turned granary, practical lamps casting bright highlights on cracked hands. Vienna's survival machine hums with desperate purpose in the dark. Scouts report movement in the Wienerwald woods beyond Ottoman lines. The relief armies approach, visible as a gathering of forces on the ridges near Starhemberg. The relief force advances from high ground, infantry pushing through difficult terrain. Cannon answer cannon, the valleys amplifying each strike as siege works become obstacles. Vienna's defenders hear the broader sound of battle, the siege's rhythm breaking. They fire with renewed purpose, knowing they are no longer alone. Hope rekindled. Polish winged hussars form on the heights, lances upright like a field of spears. The slope ahead is a plunge, the charge about to begin against Ottoman lines. The cavalry charge slams into Ottoman lines with weight and intent released in one direction. Formations bend and break as the relief army surges behind the impact. Ottoman camp becomes a collapsing point of panic as their nerve center disintegrates. Standards and command unravel under the coalition's pressure. The siege's end in sight. Ottoman army withdraws in sudden unraveling, leaving artillery, tents, and the carefully built siege apparatus behind. Vienna's defenders hold the battered line. Victory near. Vienna emerges from the siege alive, stunned, marked by cratered bastions and streets, scarred by hunger and grief. The city still stands, breathing through the aftermath. Scouts report the relief army's approach from the Wienerwald, the coalition looking down on the sprawling siege camp like a hand poised above a table. Ottoman trenches advance like a slow tide, batteries moving forward to pound Vienna's bastions until stone begins to look tired and broken. Starhemberg inspects earthworks at Vienna's ramparts as bakers and priests haul stones under moonlight, their faces grim with exhaustion, the city's survival in their hands. Ottoman sappers pack powder in mine tunnels, while defenders listen for vibrations. The ground shifts beneath them in the dark, a silent war beneath the siege. Women stitch bandages in a church-turned granary, practical lamps casting bright highlights on their cracked hands. Vienna's survival machine hums with desperate purpose. The first mine explosion shatters Vienna's fortification, Ottoman troops surging toward gaps as defenders meet them with pikes and muskets and choking smoke. Vienna's defenders launch a sortie through the gates, small groups rushing out to burn siege works and drag back tools before the Ottoman net tightens. Ottoman cannons pound Vienna's bastions until stone looks tired, the bombardment shifting from distant thunder to constant, earth-shaking rhythm. Starhemberg counts ammunition shot by shot, rations measured with cold arithmetic as Vienna's streets fill with the smell of sickness and powder. Polish winged hussars form on the heights, lances upright like a field of spears. The slope ahead a plunge for their charge. The cavalry charge slams into Ottoman lines, weight and intent released in one direction, formations bending and breaking as the relief army surges. Ottoman camp becomes a collapsing point of panic as their nerve center disintegrates under coalition pressure. Standards and command unravel, the siege ending. Ottoman army withdraws in sudden unraveling, leaving artillery, tents, and the carefully built apparatus of the siege behind. Vienna's defenders hold the battered line. Vienna emerges from the siege alive, stunned, marked by cratered bastions and streets scarred by hunger and grief. The city still standing. Scouts report the relief army's approach from the Wiener Wall. The coalition looking down on the sprawling siege camp like a hand poised above a table.